Welcome to a new video on crypto, my dear friends. Today we're doing a tutorial on the Smart Money Concepts Indicator. It's a very, very interesting tool. I'll also show you a second indicator that can help you filter out a lot of false signals. So what is the Smart Money Concepts Indicator? Basically, it just gives signals for structured trading, in other words, price action, just like the professionals do. That means it shows you when do we have a structure break? When do we have a continuation of a structure? Where do we have discount zones? Where do we have order blocks that we can use? And there are a few things to keep in mind. If you stick to those, you can really get some very, very good trades with excellent entries. What's really brilliant here is that you can set alerts for all these things, structure breaks, structure shifts, when you enter discount zones, when fair value gaps appear, which are usually very bullish or very bearish. They're even color coded there. That means you don't have to sit in front of the chart all the time. Instead, you can say, I don't have any open trades right now. I set this alert for myself. And when it triggers, I look at the chart and check if everything fits for me at that moment. And then I either enter a trade or not. I don't know how long it will take again. It's a bit, how should I put it, more to explain. I want you to really understand the indicator, because when you see it now, you might think, whoa, chaos, so many things, so many letters, and who knows what else is there. But once you know what everything means, you'll say, okay, I get it. And then you actually have this visual representation of what the professionals are really doing when they look at the chart normally. True professionals hardly ever trade with indicators. Instead, they just look at the price action. Where are the lows? Where are the highs? Where do I have new entries when new liquidity is picked up? And things like that. But now we'll get to that. I'll show you now which indicators you need. I'll show you the settings. And if it doesn't get too long though, I think it might be interesting. I'll just go into replay mode and show you, as if it were live trading, how I would proceed, when and where I would enter, when and where I would exit, and how these signals appear. For that, I'm using screen monitoring. You see, I've already got a bit of everything in here, and please don't be shocked if it looks a bit chaotic now, so many order blocks, so many letters and the like. It's really just that once you understand these things, you'll know what they mean and you'll love having them appear. As for the indicators, I don't think I need to say much. Smart money, we already have a concept from Lux Algo here. We'll include that one as well. Then another very important one to add is the money flow oscillator. If you search for enhanced money flow oscillator by Vitali Aparinia from Immortal Free, that's actually the creator. You should add that one as well. And I also have the RSI just to see whether we're in a very overbought or oversold market. I have that included as well. Regarding the money flow indicator, just a quick note on the settings. At first, it will look like this for you. If you have a dark chart, everything at the bottom will also be dark. I use a light chart, so I set it up this way. That's all there is to it. I didn't do much with the RSI either, just adjusted the style. I simply changed the color of the RSI, made it a bit thicker, and added the RSI based moving average. That's basically it. I actually left the Smart Money Concept Indicator as it is. We'll get to the individual settings you can adjust in a moment. A brief explanation, what do we have here? There are always these premium and discount zones which are down here. Maybe I'll just turn off the order blocks for a moment so you can see it better, because the order blocks are currently overlapping a bit. This is basically always our trading area. This is always the current trading area that we're in. That means we have discount zones, we have premium zones, and we have this median value here. Discount zones are often tested. They can also be pushed further down, but these are actually targets where we say we exit or use them as reversals. And that's exactly what happened here in this case. We simply had this break in structure. You can also see that in the candle color. I'll show you in a moment how to set that up. And we tested it at the top before moving further down again. But that doesn't mean we're just going to keep going down and that's it. No, we actually had a break in structure here. So you can see exactly what that looks like. I'll quickly show you the settings now for those who don't know. I'm now going to add the order blocks as well, which are very interesting, because the next major order block where we could say there are more bearish signals is up here. That means the premium zone can still be extended further, but it's enough for now to close the position and possibly open a new one. So to help you understand how does this indicator work, first of all, once you have the indicator loaded, please go to Weasel Order and then select Bring it to the front. The problem is, if you don't have it right at the top here, your candlestick colors won't be displayed when you make a certain setting. I want to quickly go over the scripts now so I can show you what it looks like. What is structure trading? What is price action in this case? Here we have this upward structure as shown here. And you'll also see that if this structure continues, it will be indicated with a break of structure BOS. If this upward structure comes to an end, it will be indicated by a change of structure, CHOCH, in this case shown in red. And then it's usually the case that after such a change of structure, but also after a break of structure, we go up again to grab the liquidity. Then it continues downward. It's actually shown here in a textbook manner. I would say we have another break of structure, form a new lower low, then move up with a higher low and collect the liquidity from the break of structure. Then it goes down again. And that's basically how you can imagine these working. Of course, it's not always perfectly one-to-one that we grab the new liquidity here and then continue downward. Then we also have the order blocks. You can see the swing points here and so on. But take a look at this yourself. I'll just explain it to you now. I don't want to read through everything right now. It's actually pretty simple anyway. So what do I want to show you now? In this case, we are now on the 1 hour chart. We can see that here we had the change of structure. In this case, it's indicated right here. Afterwards, it went down again, picked up liquidity here in this blue order block, and then moved upwards. Now we've had this move upwards here, and we've had this break of structure here. So it's not just that we went down here and grabbed liquidity at the bottom. We're at the break of structure at the top, and if you look closely, you'll see that after the break of structure, we picked up liquidity here again. That means if you don't always have to enter right away here. Instead, you could simply say, I'll just place a limit order now. Let me clear all of this again. We had the break of structure here. Now I'll place a limit long order, maybe not exactly on the line, but a bit above it and say, okay, I want to place a limit long order here and that's where I want to continue. That's what I mean by picking up liquidity. And this works both bullish and bearish. Maybe we have another example. Sometimes it's a bit bigger, sometimes a bit smaller. Here, for example, as well, we had the change of structure here. As I said, it's always your own choice how you proceed. After the bullish uptrend, we didn't have any further. So that was actually our high. Higher highs, higher lows. And then we weren't able to form new highs anymore. And it had already started that we were getting lower highs. In this case, this was broken here. Of course, you could say, I enter immediately at every change of structure. That's where the smart money concept indicator comes in, which confirms for you, you could, you should, whatever the case may be, because the smart money concept indicator now shows you now money is flowing into the market. Look at what's at the top of the chart, and now money is flowing out of the market. And look at what's at the bottom of the chart. And that's very, very interesting, especially when it comes to false signals. We'll get to false signals in a moment because it allows you to filter them out. But it's also the case here that although we moved down, take a look, we actually retested the change of structure here even twice before the price really continued downward. And we had the break of structure here, meaning that's where the structure continued. As I said, it only displays this visually. Then we also have EQL. What are EQL? Those are simply two equaler, EQH in this case two equal highs, which actually represent a bearish structure. And if we take a quick look at this in replay mode here, how it looked back then, I probably also have to say that here, if we go back even further Thorium, I could imagine that we might have had a discount zone here, which is why we bounced here. But we'll see that in a moment. No, here we were just barely at the discount zone, but we had this bullish order block. Yes, that was here, just so you can see what that looks like live. Of course, it's always easy to say that afterwards when looking at the chart, but just so you can see, okay, we tested exactly this bullish order block here, got the reversal we talked about earlier, picked up liquidity up here again, and then it continued downward. And that's how it would be traded. In this case, as you can see, we had another bearish order block here, a bearish structure break. That means you can keep trading here. The money flow indicator also shows that money is still flowing out of the market. And then you have to consider, okay, do I take the order block? Do I take a discount zone? When does the money flow indicator kick in? That would then be an area to take profits. In this case, the question now is, do you wait until you reach the discount zone, meaning the green area here, or do you just take something out of the order block right now? In this situation, I would say that would already be more than enough. If you look at it, if you had taken it right here, that would have been 4.98%. If you had taken it with the limit order, as I explained, that would have been 6.3%. That means easy money, just take it all, close out, and you're done. Even if it goes further down, as you can see now, we've actually just tested the discount zone again, and I mean exactly. We'll have to see. Money flow seems to be moving upward. Let's see what the chart does next. In this case, it's continuing to go down. It formed a new low again, so let's see how it develops. everything still looks bearish, at least according to the candles. Now it has shown a structure break here. That means, of course, you could have taken a bit more, but it's always risky. If you have profits, you should take them. Here's this example now. What are good entry points? What are some concepts where you can say, I want to have those? Here we have a perfect example. You can set alerts here. By alerts, I mean you really have every type of smart money concept you could want. Every single one, whether you enter a bearish order block, have a bullish structure break, a bearish structure break, a fair value gap, and so on and so forth. You can set all of that up. As a small example of what would be an extremely good entry, you get an alert because the chart moves into an order block. That would be the first thing. Then you get another alert for a fair value gap. We'll get to what that means in a moment. Very, very interesting, because when those appear, it's usually, I'd say, almost 80 to 90% of the time that the price continues to rise, or if it's red, if we find one somewhere, that it continues to fall. Here, for example, here we had this bearish fair value gap and then the structure break. And you can see here it continued to go down. Now we already have two bullish signals, actually a change of structure where we were already inside an order block before, which you could have already taken advantage of. We picked it up again before or after that, then went up, had a break of structure, a fair value gap, and this bullish order block. So if all three alerts appear, there's really no reason not to go long. You can do the same with the discount zones and then look for, where do I look for the high? Where is my premium zone or where is an order block? In this case, I could really imagine that we say, okay, we pick that up, move higher, have a higher high, a lower high, another higher high. And I said, we picked up this liquidity here. And if we don't form another high here and break through it, but instead it looks like this, that we see this again, that we proceed like this and maybe have a lower high here and then go lower again, then there would be another structure break here, roughly, and then another bearish structure break would be indicated here, which would probably be picked up like this, and then it continues downward, yes. And that's exactly what I mean by price action trading. Maybe now we're at 13 minutes. I'm just thinking if I forgot anything, feel free to ask me any questions. Yes, we can do that. If you have any questions about this, we could maybe do a live video where I show you as well. But here again, you can actually see it beautifully. Breakout, that is the change of structure. It grabbed liquidity one more time and actually formed new higher highs and higher lows until it couldn't do that anymore and then started forming lower highs and lower lows. That's exactly what this is. I would say maybe for anyone who still wants to watch, I'll just quickly go over the last day. We are now on the 1 hour chart, so we can do this in a fair way. We go into replay mode and take a look. It's the 21st of July now. So let's set it to the 20th of July at midnight and go from there. But so that I don't know how, what, when or where, let's just switch to the 5-minute chart now, okay? 5-minute chart is set and let's quickly load the Smart Algo Smart Money concept, just briefly go into the settings. You don't need to do much here, okay? Historical simply means you see everything from the past and present means you only see the current data. Color candles, I think, is self-explanatory. It shows you the bullish and bearish structure breaks using colors. Other than that, I would also turn on the equal lows and equal highs and the fair value gaps. Those are really important. I would definitely include them. Okay. And don't forget this either, premium and discount zones, because if you don't check that, you won't have them, but they're very, very meaningful. I think I forgot to mention that earlier. Exactly. Other than that, you really don't need to do much else. So let's just take a look now at how I would approach this. 5-minute chart. As I said, you can really trade this even on small time frames. Where are we now? What do we see here? 23.55. We don't want that one yet. Now we're at midnight. Exactly, midnight. Let's say it's midnight now. I'm just turning on the chart and now I want to make a trade. I see we had a bullish change of structure. We somehow got rejected here. And down here, the money flow indicator is currently showing me that we have a money flow, meaning outflow. That means money is going out. It's continuing to go out. Now it seems to be coming back in, even though we're in the positive now. For me, it's like this now. We have this here. And as I said before, in the current example, now on the hourly chart, we actually have a bullish order zone here. Of course, it could be, but I would say I'll just go long now. You also have the numbers displayed here. I don't know exactly how much 220 cents is, but whatever. Just so you have a few numbers to go along with it. In this case, I would go long here and just see what happens next. Maybe we'll go even further down. Of course, something like that can always happen even further. Maybe it was just a mistake. No, it just picked up even lower zones. Exactly. And now it's actually moving upwards. So if it breaks through this area now, this high here, then there would probably be a break of structure. Just as it is, this is what I mean with price action. That's what would happen. That means for me, it's still a bullish sign. The money flow indicator is also still bullish. That means I won't do anything yet. I won't close anything right now. Let's keep going. Now it's getting interesting though, because we're in the bearish order blocks, right? Discounts. So the premium zone is actually still further up, but I don't always use the premium zone. Instead, I look at, okay, we're here now. The RSI is already rising. The money flow indicator is also going up. And then I look back at the chart to see where were we here. Well, we might still have a few highs we can reach here. So it's not really anything Persian yet. Let's see what happens. Of course, we can go down again and collect liquidity and then move on. Yes, so that we can continue the trend that I explained earlier. Let's see. Okay, now things are getting exciting. So it's nice. An upward trend actually. But now I have to say things are getting interesting with the RSI because we're really, really high up. We still need to look at where we were in the past here. When I look at this, you can see there was very strong support here. And here it was resistance again, where we were actually bought up extremely high, even though we tried. In this case, I would just take out half of the position and see what happens. Whether we here, okay, now we have this area here. For me, if we don't hold this now, right, in this case, we're not holding it. I would just close now, yeah. Of course, you could say, I'm not being greedy and I'll just leave. It could be that we pick this up and continue, but I'm not taking any risks here. I just want to take my profits here and see what happens. Okay, now we have a negative money flow here, but right now we're actually testing the bullish order block again. Let's see what happens here. Will it keep going up here or will it keep going down? Actually, right now with the money flow, and since we've only just tested it, I would actually open a long position again. Unless, okay, no, I wouldn't after all, because the money flow indicator below is still bearish. That means we still don't have any money flowing in yet. Now it's getting interesting again. Now, for example, I would open a long position again. Yes, because we simply have these zones here where we're testing anew. For him, it's still bullish. In my opinion, this would already be bearish. Yes, a bearish structure, but in this case, we've just tested it now. Let's just see what happens. Okay, he says, here it actually looks per fuel. That was almost perfectly hit. That it continues here. Money flow indicator, which already showed me earlier that new money is coming into the market. It's going up. We'll also see how it continues. Yes, you see, it's still going up. Now let's keep looking at what happened here in the past. And the question is always, when do you close? When do you close? In this case, the premium zone isn't that far away, but the RSI was already very high again. The money flow indicator, you'd have to test that now. It's going down a bit at the moment. But of course, it's possible that we're just picking up new liquidity here and then continue moving higher. That would be the continuation of the structure. In this case, we're okay. It also looks very good again. Okay, for me, that would already be a point to close up there. Of course, you can see that we could go much further now. I'm just going to take out half of the position again. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get a new high. With the next candle, we were a bit higher again. Here, a little higher once more. In this case, I wouldn't be greedy either. That means for me, I would now take out another half. I'll just take a look now. Okay, up to here, we have a bullish order fair value gap. That's also very interesting. So you're actually seeing live how you can approach this. But for me now, let's give it one or two more chances. I would close it now, no matter what happens next. Yeah, we've taken profits again. Why? Well, the money flow index, the oscillator down here shows that we've moved into bearish territory, which means we exited perfectly. Of course, it could turn around again now. In this case, it does, yeah. But in this case, you're also not taking any risks, right? You'll never trade perfectly, getting in and out at the exact right moments, I'd say. So let's just see how things develop. It's even forming another bearish order structure. As for this, it's going down now, bullish order block that it's entering. You can see here, the money flow index is actually consolidating a bit right now, not really indicating any clear direction. So now we have a bearish structure. We're still inside the order block, but above it, there's a bearish order block. In this case, we've also seen that we formed a new high with the premium zone and are continuing to move down here. It could be that we use this here now, but I'm not going short yet. I wouldn't go in now because the money flow indicator is actually going up at the moment. If it breaks down again, that actually already happened here in this case. I'm just going to enter a short order here again and then see what happens, okay? Just to see what we do. In this case, look, okay, we're continuing to move higher. Hopefully we're just picking up new liquidity because the change of structure we have here where I actually always said before, but this time I didn't stick to it that we're picking up this liquidity again. Yes, which is what the change of structure is before it can continue downward. Of course, there's no guarantee. Okay, that was actually just now a textbook example in this regard. Let's see, it's still moving further into the discount zone. We've already tested it. At this point, I definitely would have already taken something out. The money flow indicator, it's actually incredible what it's doing right now. I would take something out here again now. Actually, I wouldn't really do anything else, yeah? Just take out the whole position and that's it. It's a pity because normally down here I would set a limit order. But of course, it's possible that we could go much further down now. In this case, I wouldn't risk anything. We're on the 5-minute chart. That's actually very, very pleasant. You have so many opportunities during the day to get in here. Now it's already the 20th, 8:15. I'll just keep going here, yeah. I'm just speeding this up so it doesn't get too boring. We'll see at the end of the day what the result was. So now we have a new bullish structure break. Let's see what happens. Here with the money flow indicator, we were actually just bullish. Maybe we're still picking up the bottom here. We have here, I'm going long again now. Yeah, because we're back at the order block. Whether I'm right or not, we'll see in a moment. Yeah, bullish fair value gap. We're moving up again. So there I almost have to say it's almost like I'm cheating or something if you remember that from the PlayStation. No, but actually for me that would already be a reason to get out of the position again. At the very least I would sell half and see what happens next. Normally if I say okay I just want some peace of mind, then I would just close everything right away. You can see the money flow indicator here, it's very high up. We also have the RSI very high up here. I don't know how much more risk you would want to take on. I'm just going to bail out now. That means I've made another profitable trade. Of course, it could keep going much further. Yeah, today we also went quite a bit further. We could have made quite a few more percentage points here. You can see that here, but nothing is perfect. You're seeing this live now. That's just how it is. Let's see how it goes from here. Next structure break, money flow indicator is now turning negative. We have the bearish structure break. Well, not a structure break yet, but the bearish fair value gaps, which are very interesting. Now there should actually be a structure break here. Yeah, which in my opinion, yeah, if we look at it closely, has actually already happened. We haven't formed any higher highs, but rather lower highs if you look at it closely on the 5-minute chart, which is why you actually could have gone short much earlier here. But for now, let's just let the indicator decide and say, okay, there you can see, okay, actually it has. Was that actually guessed by me? If you look at it long term, well, we actually just grabbed liquidity and kept moving higher. So really good in that regard. If we keep looking, maybe still. The video is already long, I know, but I'll try to wrap it up soon. Bearish structure break. In my case, money flow is going down. I would just test this now with a sell order. Yeah, and see what happens. It's actually looking pretty good and I'm quite pleased with its current appearance. Let's carefully observe and see how much further it continues to go down as we are interested in its full extent. Money flow indicator is currently very low. Now we have a bullish exchange structure, although I don't really see it as that bullish, but we'll just take note of it and close the position, taking a bit of profit again. Now with the bearish exchange structure plus, we again have this bearish money flow. I'm going to enter this short position again. Here, the bearish structure break is shown, that is break of structure. I'll just say, let's see if this works out, or if we're just going to take a loss on this position. In this case, I have to be honest, even though we're moving slightly downwards, you could also draw this in with the line here, for example, would start to consider, whether I should close because we're simply not moving further down. Now we have this bullish one. You see, bullish change of structure, money flow is leaving, flatten out, we take a loss on this position. And actually, sorry, I forgot to mention, since we're positive at the bottom, we could have already gone long here. I'll now see if we retest this change of structure, and if we do retest it, money flow reversed. No, it didn't. That would have actually been a false signal. You see, luckily I didn't enter now, but maybe it's just grabbing new liquidity from the order block. Okay, that's it. You can see here, 88% hit rate, 192 USDT is now cash. This was just a small example of what it's like when you apply this live. But I have to say, it doesn't always work as well as it just did. That was pure coincidence. 5-minute chart Zen, take a look at this. I need to take a closer look at it. Maybe Zen is better in this time frame. I actually traded it more often on the 15-minute chart, but even so, it was very interesting. For example, altcoins in general are better. I want to mention that because they simply yield more percentage gains during the movement. Let me know what you think about it. Do you have any questions? Then let me know. Maybe I'll explain all of this to you in a live video or in a separate video, because if you can do this, if you master it, then you'll be trading like the pros. Price action, structure breaks, structural breaks. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. Like, share, and don't forget, ciao, ciao.